Yo, what is up, guys? It's Cone back here again today with another video. Happy NBA Finals Day. As you're seeing this video, there's about 3 to 4 hours until the NBA Finals, depending on whenever I get this uploaded. Hopefully soon. But as I'm recording this, we've got about like 6 hours to the NBA Finals. Bucks versus Suns. Super excited for it. I can't wait. I'm going to be doing videos after every single NBA Finals game, after the buzzer videos where I'm reacting to and talking about what happened in the games. So make sure you like and subscribe so that you don't miss out on all of that. And yeah, so this video is basically just going to be me going over the NBA Finals. It's going to be in like 3 parts. First of all, I want to talk about the perception that a lot of people have had of this NBA Finals, why that's dumb. Second of all, I want to talk about some of the matchups and what I'm looking for specifically in this series that I think will determine who ends up winning it. And finally, I'm going to, give you my predictions for both who wins the finals and who wins finals MVP. I don't love making predictions just because I feel like every time I get something wrong, y'all let me know. And if I ever get anything right, which to be fair, isn't all the time, you guys really don't let me know. So I'm requiring you, if I get the finals pick or the finals MVP right, someone come back to this video and clip that section at the end of this video to let me know that I was right so I can feel that validation. That's all I'm asking. So, part 1 of this video, like I said, I want to talk about the perception of these NBA Finals. If you're not on NBA Twitter, first of all, good for you. But second of all, you probably haven't seen much about this. I don't think the national media is talking about it a lot. Probably some talking heads are talking about it, but I don't pay attention to that too much. So, if you don't know what I'm talking about, a lot of people are mad that these NBA Finals are Bucks versus Suns. They're talking about, oh, I wanted to see the Lakers, I wanted to see the Nets, the Clippers, whoever. And first of all, one of the biggest complaints over recent memory about the NBA Finals or the NBA in whole was that there was no parity. We had 4 straight years of Cavs versus Warriors, and given I enjoyed those finals, especially the 2016 one, in my opinion, is one of the greatest finals we've ever seen, but one of the biggest complaints from people is that we're seeing the same teams, we're not seeing new teams succeed, and as a small market fan, it's cool to see a different team up there. So, if you were one of the people complaining that we kept seeing Cavs versus Warriors, why are you now complaining that we're getting 2 very different teams, 2 teams that a lot of people, me included, well, actually, I predicted the Bucks at the beginning of the season, I'm going to give myself that, but a lot of people didn't expect to make the finals. It's cool to see. And not only that, but we have so many cool narratives in these finals. On the Suns side of the ball, you have Devin Booker trying to establish himself as an all-time great. He has the possibility to add a finals and maybe even a finals MVP to his resume at still a very young age. This is his chance to start building his Hall of Fame case. Chris Paul, a guy who has never made the NBA Finals, is one of the best players in NBA history, one of the best point guards of all time. The point god has never made an NBA Finals, and finally, when I think he's 36, makes the NBA Finals for the first time in his career and has a chance to help lead a Suns team that didn't make the playoffs for 10 straight years, win an NBA Finals in their first return to the playoffs. That's an awesome storyline. And not only that, but he could get a ring that firmly puts him in the best of all time at the point guard position argument. Then you've got a guy in DeAndre Ayton, a first overall pick, more than just a first round pick, a first overall pick that a lot of people were calling a bust coming into this season, making a name for himself and really leaping off the page. Not just statistically, but if you watch him play, he's been dominant in these NBA playoffs. He's been so good, and he's showing why he was deserving of a number 1 overall selection. And not only that, but there is a possibility even he could win the Finals MVP with some of his lockdown defensive performances. Maybe he locks up Giannis or something like that, and he ends up winning himself a Finals MVP. Who knows? So the Suns side of the ball has so many cool storylines. You have guys like Jay Crowder, Mikal Bridges, who are really working hard. And I think outside of Jay Crowder, no one on the Suns has ever been to a finals. So this is a chance for like an entire team almost, or actually, yeah, an entire team, because Jay Crowder hasn't won the finals, to win a ring. When was the last time we've had that happen where a team, maybe other than like the first NBA season ever, where we've seen a team, not a single player on that team, I don't believe, has a ring? That's such a cool storyline. And for a Phoenix franchise that hasn't been here in so long, they've got this opportunity. On the Milwaukee side of the ball, Giannis, assuming he plays, I think there's a shot he might play. Right now, as I'm recording this video, he's currently a game time decision, and I'm hopeful he is going to play at some point if he's healthy. I don't want to see him force himself out there. But if he's healthy, I'm hopeful that he's going to be able to play. And so for a lot of this video, I'll kind of be going under the assumption that he plays at some point, because if he's a game time decision for game 1, I expect him to play in the NBA Finals. If you don't remember, he was possibly going to try and play for game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals if it was necessary. It wasn't. So pushing that back to the NBA Finals, I expect him to play at some point. But Giannis has the chance to win a ring and potentially a Finals MVP. If the Bucks win, I would say Giannis is probably going to win the Finals MVP and establish himself firmly as one of the greatest players of all time. You might think I'm crazy saying that. If you don't believe me, go look at his resume right now at the age he is at and tell me, which you cannot, that he's not already one of the best players we've ever seen. Okay, have you looked at it? Yeah, he's one of the best players we've ever seen. And imagine if he adds a Finals and a Finals MVP to that resume at this young age. That's incredible. He's already starting to establish himself a case for a top 10 player of all time at that point, assuming he continues to find team success. So there's that storyline. There's Chris Middleton stepping up and showing that he can be the number 2 option, and sometimes even, like we saw at the end of the Eastern Conference Finals, the number 1 option on a team that makes the finals. We have a guy like PJ Tucker, who's been grinding it. He's been an integral player in so many great teams, having a chance to finally get over the hump with this Bucks team. We have Jrue Holiday, who finally has the opportunity to play in a big time moment like this. He's been grinding it out. He's played on some good teams, but he's never been on an elite team like this. And he's got a shot to show his defensive prowess and lock down the opposing guard tandem on the Suns and try and help this team win a finals. They haven't been here in 40 years. So there's so many storylines going into this that are super interesting. And so if you're one of the people that doesn't think these are a fun finals, like why? It doesn't make sense. And I think at that point, if you don't think this is a fun finals, either A, you just aren't looking into it enough, or B, you are purposely just trying to discredit it because it's not what you wanted to see. This is history in the making, and this finals, no matter which side wins, will establish legacies for a really, really long time. So watch these finals, be a part of history, and enjoy the narratives. Enjoy the history that's being made in front of us, starting with Game 1 tonight. That's all I can say. Going into the actual finals themselves, like I said, I'm going to kind of go under the assumption that I think Giannis plays. If he's a game time decision for tonight, even if he doesn't play tonight, I think ultimately he will end up playing at some point in this series. So probably the most interesting thing in these finals is, how do you stop Giannis assuming he does play? The Suns have some options. They've got Jay Crowder and Mikal Bridges at the wing position, or at the 3 and the 4, who have played some great defense. Mikal Bridges is an all defensive level guy, and Jay Crowder has played some great defense over the course of his career. Those are 2 guys you could throw at Giannis, but ultimately I think the biggest factor for the Suns on defense is going to be DeAndre Ayton. Ayton has given multiple opponents fits throughout the playoffs. He gave Anthony Davis problems, and we saw what Anthony Davis did last year en route to a finals. So DeAndre Ayton's been really, really good. And ultimately, the way that Giannis attacks the basket, DeAndre Ayton is going to have to step up in a big way. He can't get into foul trouble. If he does, it's going to be really bad for the Suns very fast. And he has to be able to slow Giannis's attacks to the rim. Brook Lopez is definitely going to stand on the perimeter and try and space things out a little bit when Giannis is playing. And when that happens, DeAndre Ayton needs to be quick and he needs to be calculated in making sure he's able to cut off those Giannis drives and prevent him from getting to the basket. Because outside of Giannis, the tallest guy on the Suns court, or the court for the Suns, is Jay Crowder. So they've got to figure out a way to stop that. I think DeAndre Ayton and the Suns are up to the task, and I think Monty Williams is up to the task, trying to figure out these defensive matchups. Who guards Chris Middleton as opposed to Giannis? I'm sure it'll be one of Bridges and Crowder on each one of those guys. Who guards who? For Jrue Holiday, probably put Chris Paul on him. You got to figure all this out. So I'm super excited to see how Monty Williams does it. He was my Coach of the Year pick, and I think he's going to do some really interesting things in these finals and in terms of rotations. For the Bucks, Jrue Holiday, I'm assuming, is going to be guarding Chris Paul, so that matchup is going to be super interesting with those two guarding each other. You're going to have Chris Middleton or PJ Tucker, one of those two, probably trying to stop Devin Booker. And then you've got Giannis trying to potentially guard either DeAndre Ayton, or he might be matched up. I would assume he's probably going to be on Jay Crowder or Mikal Bridges, so he needs to prevent them from getting those open three-point looks, and he needs to also be able to move and help out when those guards, Chris Paul and Devin Booker, are able to start driving to the basket. That's what I'm most interested in, is how these teams try to figure out how to stop each other, because there's a lot of potential mismatches, but at the same time, a lot of great defensive play on both sides of the ball that I think is going to make for some really interesting chess matches between the two coaches. And yeah, Those are the main things I'm looking at. If Giannis doesn't play, it's going to be a lot up to Chris Middleton to have to make up the slack alongside Jrue Holiday, and I don't know if they can quite keep up with the Suns' firepower if Giannis doesn't play. As we move into the prediction part of things, I would probably say one of if Giannis plays, it's definitely going to be a really good series. If Giannis doesn't play, assuming he doesn't, I would probably pick the Suns in like 5. I think the Brook Lopez dominance has been super fun to watch against the Atlanta Hawks, but this Suns team is just better. And so if Giannis doesn't play, I'm picking Suns in 5. But like I said, I'm going to assume Giannis plays, and that's where things get really interesting. This Bucks team is really good, but so are these Suns. And pretty much the entire playoffs, I've been rocking with the Suns. I've been like talking about the Suns, talking about how I think they're going to win the West, which by the way, they did. That's one more point for me. Very few that I have, but one more point for me. And so I feel like I am obligated and just kind of have a gut feeling that this is their year. It would be really cool to see Giannis get a ring. It would be cool to see Chris Middleton get one. But ultimately, I'm going to go with the Suns, even if Giannis plays. Assuming Giannis plays every single game, we don't even know if he's going to be 100% if he does play, because if I got that injury, I right now would be in the hospital for about 10 years, and Giannis might be gearing up to play an NBA basketball game like a week after. So even if he does play, we're not sure if he's going to be 100%, and I think the Suns just have too much firepower and the ability to match up really well with this Bucks team. In addition, I really like Monty Williams as a coach over Mike Budenholzer. I don't think I need to tell you very much why. So even if Giannis plays, I'm going to go Suns in 6 is going to be my prediction, and my Finals MVP is going to be Chris Paul. I'm biased. Chris Paul is one of my favorite players of all time. Thunder legend, throw that in there as well. And I am currently, you probably can't see it, but I'm wearing a Chris Paul shirt right now. So, a little bit biased here, but I think that ultimately Chris Paul is going to have, if the Suns do win this, Devin Booker is going to have to be great, but Chris Paul is going to be the guy that's going to end up getting them over the hump. And I think ultimately through I know it's a meme, but his leadership is a factor in this postseason. Between his leadership, and I think he's going to hit a lot of clutch time buckets. When the Suns need buckets, a lot of times they do go to Chris Paul. And when the Bucks start to get momentum, the guy that's going to really slow them down is Chris Paul. We saw that against the Clippers in the closeout game. The Clippers cut it to a 7-point game, and Chris Paul went out and scored like it was some ridiculous percentage of the rest of the Suns' points to end up with a 40 bomb. I think it's going to be Chris Paul that gets this thing done, and in the twilight of his career, which is crazy that the twilight of his career is an all-NBA player still, towards the end of his career, Chris Paul finally gets his ring and adds a Finals MVP to his resume, establishing himself as one of the greatest to ever play the point guard position. And if that's not a storyline you can get behind and enjoy these NBA Finals, then you just don't like basketball. So those are my thoughts on these NBA Finals. Let me know who your pick is. Let me know who you've got, Suns or Bucks. How many games? Who's your Finals MVP? Do you think Giannis plays? Let me know all that in the comment section below. If you made it to this point in the video, drop I'm excited for the NBA Finals in the comment section below. Why not? Let's just show some positivity or something. I appreciate you guys watching. Enjoy the Finals. I will be seeing you guys again later tonight for an After the Buzzer video recapping the game. I'll see you guys later. Ray1.